Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy, Devon Terrell, and welcome to the Audio Nerds Podcast, the podcast for audio nerds like yourself. Greeted to my left of me is...
LJ.
Cool.
LG in the FL.
FL. That's his. He's claiming his gang. We claim gangs over here. On the right of me, please introduce yourself.
The GOAT, the God, Shiesty LLC, Courtney Taylor, in the building.
Courtney Taylor. Shout out to Courtney Taylor.
Appreciate
and
you.
what is your DAW of choice, just so people know?
The best one, Ableton.
All right. Wow, a lot of you use Ableton. That's nasty.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
I appreciate that.
No shade. This is FL Studio. I'm a Pro Tools guy, just so you just get an idea for it. I feel like when you say that, you already know who the person is. Like, you can make all the judgments you need to know about the person.
But hold on, I want them to know though, like just because when you say you're a Pro Tools guy, so like,
okay,
because I feel like everyone's a Pro Tools person,
right?
We all record in there. Like, what else do you do in there, bro?
I produce in Pro Tools.
You produce in Pro Tools?
That's right. Shout out to Charlie Poof. Shout out to all the great producers that produce in Pro Tools.
I think you have a mental illness.
I really don't. I really don't.
Confirmed.
Let me tell you why. I'm gonna just say this little moment of why. Where does every song that you produce wind up?
Pro Tools.
Does that make it easier to produce?
I'm about to say it's like it doesn't mean that I should do it.
But
I'll
everything
take that
winds
risk.
up in Pro Tools, and that's always my argument. Is that at the end of the day, it's gonna wind up there. So I'll start there, and then it's easier for me to work with other people just because I work in there.
Yeah, I go kill him in the comments because that's nasty.
Enough of you. Anyway, moving right on. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna open up this podcast with Levins asking us a question. And Levins, I want you to ask us the question. What do you have for us right now?
One has to go. Which one would you go without? We got two options.
Okay.
Control V
Okay.
or the space bar.
Control V or
So,
the space bar.
Pause, play, or copy paste. Like the easy, I would say the easy shortcut. So without copy paste, you'd have to go to edit and copy paste.
I'm
or
gonna say the space bar.
I'll probably say the space bar.
using
too.
mouse to press play every time.
I don't want to do it, but you want
Can
to
I
click
say-
edit and then copy and then edit then paste.
Fam.
I will go with copy paste.
Why?
You would get rid of
Why?
copy paste?
Yes.
That's how I
Why?
know you use FL Studio.
But why?
What you mean?
Because y'all are weird. Y'all work in blocks and stuff like that. So you
But
don't need
it's-
But you can
that.
copy paste.
Yes,
that?
we do. Yes, we
About
do.
to say,
Because
yes,
you're
When
we
you're
do.
arranging, you need that.
to copy paste,
But you need to copy paste in any DAW. But the problem is, think of how easy your workflow goes when you just press and play. Especially when recording in
That is
Pro
true.
Tools.
But I can easily go on my mouse and just click play.
But
Control,
I can't lose that.
Control,
ease.
Command V, bro. If I lose Command
know.
V, bro,
I don't
to
know.
fly a chorus, that's how I know y'all not. See,
That's OD.
See, that's
That's
how I know.
I don't know.
That's how I
I'll
know.
go to edit and do the copy. And
No,
the
you.
paste.
That would be
I would
so
rather do
annoying.
that,
Oh,
man.
nah,
That'd be
hold
mad
on.
annoying.
I can't lose that
Hold on,
space bar.
hold
That
on,
shit
though.
is just.
But I'm losing command. I'm losing command / control V, right? I'm not losing
Yeah.
control click.
Look at this nerdy ass shit.
I'm just asking
That's
though.
nasty.
Hold on.
Nah, we don't got that info.
Control click.
You don't got
What-
control click?
What's control click?
You can drag it. You didn't know that? You can copy drag.
Oh, it's all for me. It's
Or alt,
It's option.
yeah.
It's option
That's
drag.
disgusting. Yeah, alt option drag. That's weird.
Y'all might
No,
know
it's
something
not
else.
Just
option
control.
drag. It just copies it,
It's-
and
if
it
we just hold control,
That works. That's how
copy
Premiere
too.
works. That's how everything works.
Now, now you're right. Yeah, Premiere is just
Premiere,
alt.
yes,
Premiere's
alt, and then you move and that's
Yeah,
it.
you're right, you're right,
You're
you're
all
right, you're
freaking weird. Thank you. I appreciate that.
But I
So
don't know.
spacebar has to go. I gotta do without the spacebar.
Yeah.
That was the one.
I'm gonna go me. I'm going without the copy paste because I'm not losing that space bar.
I'm
That's
going with my
FL
space
Studio
bar.
people.
It's
Y'all
so-
are weird.
I gotta go.
Think
with
about how
the
many
space bar. I
times
need
you
to copy
click that
paste.
space bar in a session, bro.
Fam, I will literally put my mouse over the play button and I will literally go click.
Just leave it.
Done.
Doop.
Done.
Nah.
It's that simple.
You're a producer, right?
Okay.
So
It was shady.
Imagine-
I felt a little shady. Felt shady. Nah, I'm listening. Come on. Come on.
you taking your own takes, right? So you got to go to record and then get your hand right back on the piano where it's at.
Right.
Especially for people that don't play
I'm
pianos, it's
not
like
doing that.
press space bar, I can get right back. Now you got to place again and everything. It's just like
I will literally hover the mouse over the play button and press play.
You're acting like it's gonna stay there though. You still got to do it like
That's
think
fine.
about- all right.
Command, I'm
got
telling
it.
you, because when I need
I'm
to
not
fly
losing
that kick
space.
pattern or something, I'm gonna be tight. When I have to go to edit, highlight,
Yeah, it's gonna be OD.
paste, that's gonna
You
be
gotta
mad
highlight
whack.
regardless though. So it's like
Yeah.
it's just an extra. It's not that big of an extra.
You're
step.
wildin'. And so that's what I'm sticking to my guns.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
not playing with
space
you.
bar.
Cool.
What y'all think? Let me know. Tell me if I'm bugging.
Tell us in the comments
don't
if you
think
think
I'm
we
bugging.
bugging. I'm pretty sure that all the FL people will agree with him because you guys are a culture and a gang. So
That's OD.
it's whatever. So, long story short, I want to bring an actual topic to you guys that I want to ask. And the topic for today is, do you think that analog gear will be surpassed by digital plugins? And the reason why I bring this up is because I seen an interesting conversation with Jason Joshua. Shout out to Jason Joshua.
The GOAT.
And long story short, I seen that he was talking about how eventually he's been moving slowly in the box when it comes to his plugins and when it comes to his mixing. And one of the things that was really what really caught me or made me always think about being more in the box is because I move around a lot. And I know that my outboard gear that I have in my studio is not the same in other studios, right?
Yeah, that too.
So I wanted to be able to be more mobile with my sessions, and I felt like I couldn't do that if I was using a lot of analog gear because I have that compressor I go to and that, summing amp. So I understand where this sentiment is coming from, but I wanted to kind of bring this to everybody to kind of see what you think. Because I think you guys are a little younger, so I feel like you've been experiencing nothing but digital plugins probably your entire like engineering careers and lives. So for me, it's different.
A piece of analog gear.
So you don't know you don't own any analog gear at all, right? Same thing. You don't own any analog gear.
My father used to, but nah, I never actually had any.
What's your pops?
I've never used that.
He had like a bunch of shit, like compressors, 8 tracks, fucking
EQs and shit like that.
Companders, like actual companders and shit. Yeah, it was weird. He had real
stuff.
A bunch of real weird shit. Like niggas made this.
Shout out to your Jamaican father.
Facts. Shout out to my Jamaican pops.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say I think it's a wrap soon. I think digital plugins
Soon?
will easily.
Soon. You think soon?
Think of how young everything's becoming now. I'm speaking from someone that's not an. I can engineer, I could mix and everything, but I'm not primarily a mix engineer, so this doesn't really apply to me. But think about it, how young everything is becoming. I started on my first DAW at 9. I was using Mixcraft. I was on FL by 13, and I've been using it ever since. I feel like not only do I not even think about it, but it's just like, at 13, what the hell am I going to do with the LA2A? So especially when Waves,
this is interesting.
I have the, you know what I mean?
Especially when you have the plugin version.
It's not that we don't respect it. We just don't care for it. It's just like everything is more mobile, first of all.
Right.
So it's just like I don't need to recall everything. I have all my sessions when I need them, whenever I need them.
Got you.
But on top of the fact that if I'm starting so young, not only do I not have much of a desire to learn about them, but with all the emulators, yeah, you can say it'll never sound the same. It'll never be as... But does that really matter as much as we think it does?
So your take is how much of a difference is it between the two, right?
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, I've seen shootouts. I've watched 1,000 videos. I think we all watched a fucking 1,000 videos on the thing. And I'll look at the difference between or how good an emulation is, and it's I'm not gonna lie to you, it's incredible. Like as far as what the emulation does, and what a lot of people don't realize is there is a very special technique that they use with the new emulation plugins where there's this randomized function where it's not the same every time. And depending on how hard you hit it, like they really intricately create these emulations down. Like these emulations are OD. For instance, like I was gonna bring up the guard particle and how that shit has completely changed everything for me. Because what Jason was saying was, and remember we was talking about when we was doing the video, Jason was bringing up the fact that he was looking for that board sound.
Yeah.
And to me, I understood what he meant because when I'm doing mixes, the biggest thing about me in the digital domain is the separation of the signals.
Yep.
So what I mean
Exactly, so you don't get no crossfeed.
Yes, exactly. That's some nerdy shit. So basically what I'm saying is when you're mixing, right? And you put your vocals on this track, you put your bass on that track, and your piano on this track, and each one separate. What you're getting in the digital domain is this perfect summing of those signals, right? It's perfect. When I put it in the analog domain, which I just purchased a Dangerous 2-Bus Plus, by the way. And
shout out Dangerous.
The separation and the difference that I get between all my signals, bro, I hear it. Like I can clearly say, yo, the vocals right there, my drums are right here. Like I can clearly hear the separation between it as opposed to the digital side. So for me, the only piece of equipment that I own as far as on the outboard side that I think I would keep purchasing, I have a summing amp and I have a master bus processor. Okay. Because of the tone, because of the circuitry and the tonality that I'm getting out of it.
I'm sure it's like really hard.
It's very special to me. But there's digital stuff. I'm not gonna lie to you.
No,
that
it's hard.
I'm not knocking it, but I do feel like there's still some stuff in the analog space that's like I don't know.
All right, so remember, I'm not coming from the place of
Sure,
a
of
mix
course,
engineer,
it's fine.
so it's just like the biggest or easiest parallel I can come up with as a producer is the analog synths. That's the biggest thing I can come with.
That's a big one. Okay,
so
that's a good one.
my parallel for it. So when I look at everything just Arturia does.
Okay.
With the Junos, with the Prophet and everything. Even like when Core brought the Triton over
into digital.
And I know that's not analog, but just the emulations are so close. Now, granted, I know it's not, it can't be as easy to emulate some of the compressors and everything because these are sounds that are already made. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm sure like there's still a long way to go for some, I guess, compressors to emulate them.
Right.
But when I see how similar the VSTs are as far as on the instrument side for analog synths and everything, it's like, yeah, nah, I don't think I would go back even if I could. Like, I don't think the difference is that much for me to not only want to learn, but feel the need. Like, I have it already. I can save my patches. It's just so much easier. Yeah.
So that's my issue, right? And I remember we and you talked about this one time with the production when we was like, you wanted to get an analog Triton, which was it Triton?
Yeah, I wanted to get a Triton, but it's not analog, so it doesn't. It's digital.
It's digital.
Yeah,
you're just outputting a signal, right? So to me, I was like, yo, my suggestion to him was don't bother getting the actual keyboard Triton, just get the synth, because I was like, yo, bro, when it comes to you bouncing your stuff out, you're gonna have to literally like press play on the Triton, bounce the audio out.
No.
Well, no, now it's different, right?
Because it's not analog. It's
straight sound.
So I would be able to. My plan was to record it into FL as if it was like a guitar.
Oh yeah,
you know how you plug in the guitar,
that's how people do it. They plug the sound source into the DAW and then they.
I won't be able to quantize, but
as
I'll just record it as I'm playing.
Like, and then you're recording the audio file into it. Yeah.
So basically, you would send MIDI information into.
No, not even
MIDI.
MIDI. It would literally
be processed in the Triton itself. And the audio that's being spit out of the Triton of those keyboards is what, when you connect it to your DAW, is what's being like, it's recording a wave file into the DAW.
So think of it like if I plug my Triton into an amp, you'll hear it. So now think of me plugging it into my laptop and recording what's supposed to come out.
Right. So my question to you is, with that is, as far as quantizing it, you would have to quantize it within the actual.
No, it's just natural. So whatever comes out type shit.
Wait, it's taking the waveform and quantizing an audio waveform?
No, it's not quantizing at all.
It's not quantizing it.
That's the thing.
So what I'm asking you is, okay, how would you quantize?
You have the time warp.
You probably would. You just go with your gut. And I think that's the beauty of it to an extent, because it's a little off. Yes, I'm not just making a beat out of a Triton.
Right.
So it's just not, the whole thing is not going to be quantized. But if I'm taking a synth and it's a little off, I think for my style of production, hell yeah, that would work.
See, the way we used to do back in the day was we would dump. So it would be like I would play on the Triton and I could quantize in the Triton, right? And then I would dump. I would have to dump the audio file.
But even then, if you record it into the Triton and play it out, you'd be able to commit it, kind of. Record it into the DAW, if that makes sense. So you press play, record it, and it's there forever.
Yeah, I know. We're saying the same thing.
Oh, we are.
But what I'm saying is, as far as the functionality of, okay, let's record that patch.
You wouldn't need to. Not for the Triton. For analog shit, you wouldn't need to.
That's
but
what
the
I'm talking
Triton,
about.
You wouldn't.
For the analog. I'm talking about an analog space. Like the keyboard. If I have the physical keyboard, it's a big...
The Prophet. Let's use the Prophet.
Okay, the Prophet. Sorry.
Let's
use the Prophet. If I'm using the Prophet and I dump into the DAW, and say, for instance, I want to record, and I'm like, damn, I just want to change one note, or I want to add a little progression. Now I got to... That's why... So for me, I think from a production standpoint, that's why I just stay... I'm very big on not using physical hardware. Like, for me, when it comes to production, physical hardware...
synths.
For synths, not for guitars and stuff. I'm not a whore. I'm not an asshole. So like that, it's no good for me.
So like on my end, to speak to both y'all points, I actually really agree with both y'all when it comes to the synthesizers, the instruments. It is a bit different for me when it comes to the actual hardware, like the compressors and the what's the word? I guess you would say like signal effectors versus like instruments.
Okay.
Speaking to what y'all both was actually just talking about, these things like an actual OG 76 is like, and like how you said with the emulations, they have these randomization settings and and codes to where like it's not the same every time you load it up. Right. And even then, loading up a new instance of the 76 in your DAW might have it, that emulation it's cold right now. It's just warming up.
Right.
The problem is though with that for me is that, which I personally feel, no matter how good the
emulation,
the designing engineers of these plugins, and shout out to y'all because y'all do some great work.
Right.
But I feel like no matter how much technology improves, we can't fully emulate that. Because you gotta think about it. These are machines.
This is an argument. Go ahead.
These are machines that like they do their own thing.
Right.
If you leave it on, if you leave that shit on for like an hour, it's gonna have a different sound. It's gonna feel warmer. It's gonna have this type of reaction.
Yes.
it's still also going to be way different, and it's going to sound like I'm wilding. It's still going to be way different, a more so a way different sound if it's the same kind of situation that 76 is in, but the day, it's a rainy day.
True.
So
That's true.
Can I bring
Everything affects that.
When it comes to analog gear, because I'll be honest with you, when I'm recording into my UA Universal Audio 710 Twinfinity, and I'm using a tube, if I notice at the beginning of my recording, it sounds different towards the end of like when it is, and it gets hot, like that tube gets warm.
For sure.
Now, some people say, yo, I like that sound. I like to have some chaos like you did. That's the beautiful thing about analog gear is that there is some chaos in it where it's like, that day may be a certain sound.
That specific day.
I remember when I did my master bounce on Raw Sound Volume 2.
Yeah.
And I remember I was beating the snot out of my knee portical bus. Like I was beating the snot out of this portical bus. Like running like for 2 weeks straight, just running the sound through it. And I remember my final bounce, it was so crispy, so warm. Like the sound I was getting out of that portico, I knew that was from like beating it to death. So then 2 months later, when I had to do a bounce for like a DJ or something, I went to it, bro. I couldn't bounce it because it was completely different. I was like, yo, it doesn't sound the same. Settings the same, but I was like, yo, it's not the same sound.
So now here's another thing. Because now I have a new theory. I have a theory that as long as your generation keeps analog emulations and everything alive, then analog gear will stay alive. Because I feel like I look at my peers, so all the people that I do music with around my age, the 17, 18, 19 years, right? And I'm like, do we necessarily care that this is an emulation off of a 2A, or do we care that this is just a dope compressor?
Yes. I think that y'all just care. How does it sound right now? I don't care. I don't think y'all care about, and it's not a slight to you. I just don't think y'all care about, wow, this is a vintage. Y'all don't care about no history of it.
It's just like, if this is super dope, if this dope compressor is like better than the 2A, I don't care that the 2A was used on this. This is a better product.
Yeah.
And
I think that's
I'm gonna go with what's better.
I think your generation cares more about just how this sounds. What does this do for me right now? I don't think I care about the history.
But then from that perspective, do you think that y'all are looking at it as now when you're in the mix, like, do you think you're looking at it as I'm gonna have to reach for this 2A plugin, or you're just looking at it as I need a compressor? What do I have? I got the 2A, I got the 3A, I got the 76.
I think it's neither. I feel like we're not reaching specifically for a 76 or 2A. Now, if a 2A is there, you know what I mean? We know what the 2A does, yada, yada, it works.
Right.
But if I'm in a studio with you and you're like, yo, Output just made this crazy, or UAD just made this crazy new compressor. It's not based off of anything, but like it's this new technology that they put in with this.
Yeah.
It's like, holy shit, this is dope. Let's use this. Right. And this is going to be my new go-to.
I feel you. I feel you.
Y'all will adopt things. So let me tell you what.
They have the wonder aspect still. It's just that it's changed. It's changed.
And that's why even in the synth world, yes, we appreciate the Junos and everything, but that V, and I have that V collection. I love it.
Right.
But Omnisphere has a bunch of new shit that is not based off of anything. Output is the weirdest. You know what I mean?
It's so amazing. My favorite.
It's dope. Native Instruments, they put out something we respect it and we know what we're gonna go to it for.
Yeah.
But this new shit is this.
It's ridiculous.
It's crazy. It's getting crazy.
So you know what it is making me realize? The old school thought is right. When I talk about like a Fairchild 6.6, like a Fairchild, right? A Fairchild compressor, famous compressor. I'm talking about thousands, tens of thousands of dollars. You could buy a Fairchild compressor, one compressor for tens of thousands of dollars, right? I feel like people may, in this generation, as far as this time, not even this generation, this time period, we may feel like, well, I can buy the plug-in emulation for $300 and get close.
Yeah.
To me, that means more to get close to 10,000 for 300 as it's worth it no matter what to me. You know what I mean? Because I could put I could put a Shadow Hills compressor on, another famous compressor, and then sit there and be like, then a compressor, the emulation is pretty close. Yeah, and I'll eat that. I'll take the $300 thing over the $10,000 thing. I think what happened was back in the day, having a unique piece of equipment.
Yeah, it was a big deal.
Was a big deal.
It was a thing.
Because it gave you a unique sound.
Yeah.
Right?
And I always look at it for synths too.
Yeah.
Because that fucking Triton. Everybody else had everything else.
That's true.
Neptune's had Triton and took over radio.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
It was the M3.
Yes.
It was the M3 chord. It was the Triton.
The chord Triton.
The chord Triton. The last great one was the Nico. You remember that, Timbaland?
Yeah.
You don't remember the
I
Taylor
gotta get
Nico?
put on. I gotta get put on.
Damn,
Hold on.
this shit was the size of this
Yeah,
table.
the table
Can we
is
get a wide on this
huge.
table? That whole keyboard was the size of this table, and it
mad
was a
huge.
computer. You could literally take it and produce with it, and it was a DAW. I think FL Studio was in it. It was something crazy.
And it's about to be nuts.
It was OD. Somebody in their house right now has a Nico, and you're tripping
Niggas
having that
You're
right now.
ODing right now,
Can
bro.
I tell you what the perfect example of what you was just saying? Where if the emulation is close, then I don't care about it. Your favorite mic right now.
Oh my God. All right.
And he came from an AKG, your dream mic.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have right now the Slate Digital ML1. Damn, I hope I'm saying it right. Is it
The
ML1?
ML1, yep.
Okay, ML1. And basically, it's an emulation microphone. The price that it cost, I think they're tripping.
Now they're
check
they're
to
wilding.
make sure.
They're wilding. Tell me the
They're
price.
wilding.
It's too cheap.
It is too cheap,
They
though.
put
I'm
the
not
price
gonna
for
lie.
it too low because I think that's what made. But it's a sellout every time.
Yeah,
Long story short,
it buys out.
$800.
it's an emulation mic, right? And which we're going to drop a tutorial on this next week. It's an emulation mic that comes with actual software. In the software, it says pick the vintage mic that you want this mic to sound like. So they made this emulation mic in a way, the way it picks up is it's perfect for emulation. So this mic has the perfect pickup as far as the high end, the mid range, for them to actually translate it to the vintage mics that's in there. I'm talking about getting it to sound like a Sony C800.
Neumann U87.
all
That's
of
my
it.
dream
C12.
mic. And
The
to see
C12.
that, yeah.
Oh, I'm talking about mics that will cost
Telefunkins.
you Telefunkins, all
Yeah,
kinds
that
of
shit
crazy
had me.
mics.
I was like,
And what
whoa.
mic did you
And they
come
have
from?
ribbons in there
What
too.
mic did you come from?
I came from an AKG C414 XLS. And that was my favorite mic. The reason why it was my favorite mic was because it had a very detailed mid-range. It's not the brightest mic in the world, but I was looking for something that gave me a detailed mid-range. And that one gives me a nice mid-range that's not harsh. So that's what made me switch over to that microphone.
Or
But
even then, not just Slate, Warm Audio. That's their whole brand.
they're cheating. And I want to know what they're doing.
Yeah,
they're
they're
cheating.
cheating.
Because
They're cheating.
Spot on, bro.
They're cheating.
and it's so it'll be like a LA2, it'll be like $600 for them, right? It'll be like $600.
They're doing the compressors and the mics.
Yeah.
The C,
Yeah.
the C800.
C800s, Telefunkins.
Oh my
My whole
gosh.
thing is, you know what I will say to that, and why I think that I would cop a lot of Warm Audio. Warm Audio, send us some stuff, man. For
Please.
real.
Facts, please do.
Shout out to
Please
you.
The
do.
reason why I like Warm Audio and why I believe in them is because years ago, a Neumann capsule, that capsule that is, you know, is the Neumann U87, it cost a lot of money to get that capsule or to get that manufactured. But today, technology has advanced and those parts are cheaper. It's easier to make higher quality stuff for cheaper. So that's why when I see the Slate Digital mic, I go, fam, why is this $600? In my head, I'm like, back in the day, this mic would have been how much? It would have been bread the way it does. So that's why I
Warm
want.
Audio is like, the Slate, I love it because you're able to switch between mics and everything.
Yeah.
But if I know, all right, if I'm going to get the Slate, I'm always going to use the C800. I'll get this Warm Audio, whatever, WA800G.
Right.
And I don't need no software. Just plug it in, put it through my, and it's like, I have
Bro,
the In My Feelings mic. I got the
Yo.
Drake. I got the.
Yeah, no,
Seriously, bro.
That warm mic. Is
I've been
crazy,
using
bro.
the C12 on it. Like I've never touched a C12,
Yeah.
right? Like, but I know the C12 is like, it's
Yeah.
heralded. So I put that thing on, I'm like, fam, what is this sound? Bro, the off rip. And the beautiful thing is, and I'm thinking about getting it for HMD here because I'm like, yo, instead of us just having this huge mic locker, let's just get the C12, let's get the Slate
ML1,
Digital,
ML1.
and then just run it, bro. And we can have a Neumann in here. We can,
Yeah, that'd
you know
be
what I mean?
tough.
You can
That'd
run
be tough.
any mic, and it sounds good. I've compared it to a few mics, and I'm like, nah, this is kind of close.
And
like,
I was
this
about
is
to say,
weird.
I won't lie, the bass sound that it gives you coming out of it, that test that you did,
Oh yeah. Oh, you watched the video. That video's
shit
coming out.
smacked it.
I don't know when
So
it's
now
coming
it's
out.
that shit
like-
smacked.
See that?
OD.
See that? How excited we were about the mics.
Oh, D, nah, you
Now,
yeah.
once we get to that
you
point,
you wrote me.
Yo,
With what?
Wave just put out a new CLA,
Yeah.
whatever, that sounds exactly like this. Like they
Right.
put out a new update for the CLA
Hell yeah.
3A or something. You know
Right.
what I mean? It's just like, that's how close everything is.
That's
so it's
true.
like, what's,
That's true. That's true.
it's-
That's
I
true. That's
think
true.
within 15 years.
That will get rid of analog completely.
Not really get rid of it, but 90% of the industry,
Kinda
if
like
not
it's gonna
already.
be on its way out.
I think that I'm for good. I'm going to be keeping my knee particle bus master
Yeah, for
bus
sure.
processor,
For sure.
and I'm going to be keeping my dangerous 2-bus plus. Let me tell you,
Until Neve gets into that digital game.
Hey.
It's a wrap.
Ooh.
R.I.P. Rupert.
R.I.P.
man.
Rupert. I met him once at Full Sail. Why I believe in those two pieces so much is because those two pieces, the only analog gear that I think I really still like believe in, like not phasing out, is analog gear that has saturation or harmonic coloring.
Yeah.
Because the color circuit on my 2-bus plus is unmatched. Like there's a transformer setting on mine that has like these Cinemag, not to get nerdy as hell, but it has these Cinemag transformers on it. I don't know what that is. I'll be honest with you. Yeah. But when I run my mix on it, the first thing I notice is it gets heavier. Like it adds like weight, and I can't even try to emulate that in an EQ. Like in my head, I'm like, how?
Yeah, what's it doing?
And I've ran tests, and I'm like, oh, the low end gets beefier, everything, but I don't get. It's not this big volume bump. It's just this feeling, and I'm like, yo, what is that? So I add that transformer, and it gets heavier. There's certain things. So the only thing I would buy outboard gear for nowadays is color. Straight up for colors that I cannot get anywhere. The Portico bus has that red button, the red silk, and the blue silk. Bro, that blue silk on some pads, like it just makes it lush, and there's things I would still use it for.
And as much as you believe in those two pieces, I believe in technology. And in 15 years, we gonna have
15 is
that's you know what I mean? You're just gonna open your master and just throw them on.
Gotta use some technology. No, I believe in what you're saying. And I think that we are headed that way.
It's possible.
I think we're headed that way.
It's extremely possible. Yes. I don't see me at the age of 50 using outboard gear at all.
That's
or walking into a
I
studio.
definitely do see me doing that shit.
We don't even see mixing boards at some studios. We just walk in to see the slate screens.
Yo, y'all are cheating, by the way, and y'all are robbing a lot of people.
That's facts.
Hold on.
Another conversation. You don't want to bring that up now. Let's hold it.
All right.
Let's hold it.
Nah, let me get my he's like, cut it off. No. Screw that. Let me tell you something. We got like a few minutes. Let me tell you something. When you walk into a studio, and it's still on topic, and you see a board, right? Don't assume that
they're using the board.
Don't assume that you got an SLCell console or you got some crazy $1 million board in front of you. Sometimes it's just a controller. It's a digital piece, meaning it has no sound. It's literally just controlling the faders in Pro Tools or whatever DAW you're using. There is not an actual physical sound that it's adding to your actual mix. Then when you look behind that console or on the side and you see the interface you're recording on and you see an inbox.
Let me tell them that.
Let me tell you what's happening.
I was at one of the nicest, when I say one of the nicest studios I've ever been.
Don't say the name.
I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say the state. One of the nicest studios I've been in. I'm talking about we're literally on the top floor of this building, looking at this beautiful view of this very popular place in America. Right? And we're recording. They got the what is it? My favorite mic. The Neumann U87 in the next room. They got no board. It's just screens. It's just slate joints, and it looks great.
It looks amazing.
Right? We got these big speakers and everything.
Right.
It's like, all right, I needed to record some guitar.
Right.
All right, we got the guitars in. They brought in the guitars and everything, and they plugged me in. Now, behind the speakers, they plugged me into the interface. When he had stepped out, I was like, all right, what they using? They were using a Focusrite Scarlett 2i2 to record.
No shade. Guitar. No shade.
And if I found out that they were recording that Neumann into the Focusrite so, for $200 an hour,
that's my thing. There we go. All right, here we go.
Oh,
so
man.
A lot of I see that, but I see that all the time. That happens all the time, bro.
$100 a day for a Focusrite.
Yeah, and that blows. And we charging $80 an hour for what we got downstairs will punch you in the face.
Bro. Downstairs, we doubled up on Neves.
Exactly right. Exactly. We have the Portico bus downstairs. We have the Prism sound. No studio got. I'm trying
studios.
You walk in that studio, you'll never see that $4,000 interface. You'll never see it. You know what you're gonna see? Let me not shit on them.
Nah,
don't do it. Don't do it. Don't
you gonna see? Nah, I'll say it. You know what you're gonna see? Mackie Big Knob.
There's nothing wrong with a Mackie Big Knob.
A pre-soned Nah.
All I'm saying is you can't charge $200 an hour for certain interfaces and stuff like that.
Can I tell you something too?
What?
You know what they doing? Low key.
Who?
Low key. They're bringing out the, what is it called?
What?
The foam thing.
The Chaotica ball.
The Chaotica eyeball. What? But you're not seeing which mic is in there.
Oh yeah, that's nasty.
They gonna start cheating with the mics.
That's nasty. Yo, y'all gotta be stopped. That's disgusting. Just because the studio looks right, bro. The first thing you do is ask them what interface they're using to record. If the engineer don't even know, bro, you're in trouble.
If the engineer don't know what interface,
he don't know what interface, leave. Get out of there. But they do that though. Yo, it's a super red flag.
Yeah.
I look at your preamp. What I'm looking at for quality is your preamps, your interface, and your mic. That's it. Don't look at the studio. Don't look at the board. Don't look at
the booth.
Don't look at the aesthetic. Look at those things. As soon as I look at your rack space and go, ooh. When I get real engineers inside our studio, like they go, oh, what? Like y'all got yes. Like that's what I'm talking about. But
I feel like people get sold on aesthetic. Thank God that we have both quality and aesthetic.
And
Here at the HMD studio, located in Brooklyn.
The HMDstudio.com if you want a book. I appreciate you guys. Hopefully this has started something that, does.
I'm banging with this.
I do too.
I'm banging
I think
with this.
no one, because you know why? I can't talk about this with no one.
That's facts.
Not a soul.
Not to this extent either.
Not to this extent and comfortably like, yo, I know we all know what we're talking about. This has been the My Audio Nerds podcast. Make sure you follow, subscribe. Also, make sure you comment below. Let us know what other things you want us to bring up. And we'll figure out the rest of the stuff from there, man. But this will be on our YouTube channel in the whole nine. If you're here, you're here. You already know that. And we'll figure this out. You can also go to myaudionerds.com if you want to get a t-shirt and support this actual brand in the whole nine that we got going on.